I'm hiking up here, out of breath already, but this view, it just stops me. In the stillness of the mountains, silence becomes its own language. I started early from Natters, catching the 9:40 bus. Only 15 minutes later, I was already in Blatten by Natters. It feels almost like magic, how quickly the valley falls behind and the world of the mountains begins to open. From there, I took the cable car up to Belalp, and you know that moment when the car begins to move, when the ground slips away below you, and the valley turns smaller and smaller while the ridges rise larger in front of you. It is as if you are living one life and entering another. This cable car has been carrying people for decades. In the past, there were wooden cabins that swayed in the wind. Now there are sleek modern ones. Yet, every journey still carries the same old charm, a tradition that never grows old. And every single time I rise into the heights, I find myself asking, why do I live down in the valley when paradise lies waiting up here? Belalp greeted me with sunlight stretched across its slopes. This place is not only beautiful, it is storied. It carries with it the tale of the Belalp Hexe, the Witch of Belalp. The legend speaks of a woman accused of witchcraft who escaped across these mountains disguised, vanishing into the wilderness. Today, that story breathes again each winter when thousands of people dress as witches and sky down these slopes. It is more than a festival, it is the memory of the mountain kept alive by the people. When you walk here with that story in mind, every path feels touched by the past, as though the very stones remember. From Belalp, I walked towards Bruchegg and then climbed up to Lusgasee. This lake is a wonder that seems almost hidden away. It sits high above, cupped gently between mountains that stands like guardians. Its surface mirrors the sky, changing the shades with every cloud that passes. Even in the quiet, there is a sense of movement as the wind brushes across the water and the peaks reflect back. In summer, some brave souls swim here, their figures small against the vastness. I did not swim, I simply stood still and let the calmness of the water and the stillness of the air sink into me. From there I reached Aletsch Board, and the sight made me stop without words. The glacier stretched out in front of me, immense and ancient. A river of ice flowing through time itself. Around it everything was silent, as though the mountains wished to honor the weight of ages. On one side lay the Aletsch Glacier, the largest in the Alps, almost 20 kilometers long, now a part of UNESCO's World Heritage. Its body of ice moves slowly but surely, carrying within it the story of centuries. On the other side stood Ridderhorn, rising proudly. Far below, the valley with Brigg and Natters lay scattered like a map drawn in a miniature. And I stood between those worlds, the deep quiet of nature surrounding me, my own small breath mixing with the mountain air. As I walked further along the trail, I encountered the true residents of these heights, the Herens cows. They are dark in color, muscular in build, and carry themselves with quite strength. This breed is known for its character. Within the herd, order is created naturally. High up here they are peaceful, grazing slowly beneath the white sky. Yet in spring, they test their power against one another, fighting for dominance without any human guidance. One more tradition lives here, known as Fariha, where cattle are gathered and separated in stone enclosures when they return from the pastures. Watching this, you sense the closeness of people and animals with the mountain, a bond woven over generations. And then, of course, the goats. They move with the confidence of rulers. One goat even stood squarely before my camera, as if to declare, "You may visit, but this is my land." So I continued towards the John Tyndall Memorial. He was an English scientist in the 19th century who devoted himself to glaciers and to the study of climate right here among these mountains. Standing before the stone that remembers him, I thought of the time he lived in. No trails, no cable cars, no maps carved by human convenience, only raw mountains and human curiosity. He climbed and studied in age of pure exploration. I stood quietly there, listening only to the wind and the silence. My plan had been to walk all the way to Sparhorn, but the day was already slipping towards evening, so I turned back to Belalp. At the same time, the Aletsch Half-Marathon was unfolding. 21 kilometers through this vast and difficult terrain. Hundreds of runners filled the air with life. There were greetings shouted across the trail.
Good job, guys.
Cheers from strangers, wide smiles of encouragement. Watching them, you understand at once why this is called one of the most beautiful marathons in the Alps. On one side of the path, the timeless presence of the glacier, on the other, the vitality of people pushing themselves to their limits. Strength of stone and strength of spirit side by side. I could only admire, deeply with respect. After all that, I walked back slowly to Belalp. I found a terrace, sat down, ordered a beer. For an hour, I simply looked at the mountains. The peaks glowed in the late light, their shadows stretching long across the slopes. The beer in my hand was enough. That is the kind of reward a day like this brings. Simple and complete. At 6 o'clock, I descended again by cable car. This time I looked ahead as Blatten, Naters, Brigg, and in the distance the Simplon Pass unfolded before my eyes. The valley widened and opened like a great stage, while in my mind the whole day replayed once more. From the early bus to the lake, glacier, the animals, the marathon, the beer, and the long ride back home. Now, let me ask you, if you were here, what would you do first? Swim in the mountain lake, hike all the way to the glacier, or maybe run the marathon? Drop it in the comments. I'd love to hear your version of a perfect mountain day. And if this journey gave you even a little peace, hit like, share it with someone who needs it, and subscribe for the next adventure. Switzerland has so many more stories to tell.